You might think intelligence is about IQ scores or academic degrees, but psychologists have found that certain everyday attitudes reveal more about someone's cognitive capacity than any test ever could. And the scary part? Most people displaying these attitudes have no idea they're doing it. Today we're breaking down 5 attitudes that neuroscience and psychology research have consistently linked to lower cognitive function. This isn't about insulting anyone. It's about recognizing patterns that hold us back. Attitude 1. Intellectual certainty without curiosity. The first attitude is being absolutely certain about everything while showing zero curiosity to learn more. You've met this person. They have an opinion on everything: politics, health, economics, relationships. And they're not just confident. They're certain. They know they're right. End of discussion. Here's what's fascinating. Research on the Dunning-Kruger Effect shows that people with lower cognitive ability consistently overestimate their knowledge. They don't just think they know more than they do. They can't even recognize how much they don't know. A Stanford study took this further. They found that intellectual humility, the willingness to admit you might be wrong, correlates with higher cognitive function. But here's the key insight. It's not confidence that's the problem. It's confidence without the willingness to update your views. Think about someone who has a strong opinion on climate change, economics, or health, but has never read a single study. They just know they're right. They heard something once. It aligned with what they already believed. And that was enough. No questions. No deeper investigation. Just certainty. So here's the pattern to watch for. Smart people ask, "What could I be wrong about?" People displaying low intelligence ask, "How can I prove I'm right?" Attitude 2. Defaulting to ad hominem attacks. The second attitude is attacking the person instead of addressing the argument. This one is everywhere. Someone presents a logical point, and instead of engaging with the logic, the response is about who they are. "You're too young to understand. You're biased. What do you know?" Yale research on argumentation and cognitive load reveals something critical. Ad hominem attacks correlate with lower verbal reasoning scores. And it makes sense. It takes actual cognitive effort to dismantle an argument. You have to understand it, identify the flaws, present counter evidence. Personal attacks? That's the shortcut when that effort is too demanding. Carl Jung called this shadow projection. When we can't handle the discomfort of being wrong, when an argument threatens our worldview, we project our insecurity onto the other person. We attack their character, their motives, their identity, anything but the actual argument. Listen to the language. "I disagree with your conclusion because the data shows X," versus, "Of course you'd say that. You're just too liberal, too conservative, too naive to get it." The quality of someone's thinking is revealed not in what they believe, but in how they defend it. Attitude 3. Black and white thinking. The third attitude is seeing everything in absolutes, all good or all bad, right or wrong, with us or against us. Psychologists call this splitting or dichotomous thinking. And here's what most people don't realize. It's actually a cognitive developmental stage. Children think this way because their brains haven't developed the capacity for nuance yet. Most people grow out of it, but some don't. Research from Harvard on cognitive complexity shows that the ability to hold paradoxes and contradictions, to see nuance, correlates directly with higher fluid intelligence. Because here's the truth. The real world operates in shades of gray. Reducing everything to binary is how a limited processor handles complexity it can't fully grasp. You hear this everywhere. That politician is either a hero or a villain. This diet is either perfect or garbage. You're either my friend or my enemy. You either support me completely or you're against me. Nuanced thinking activates multiple neural networks simultaneously. You're processing competing information, weighing context, holding multiple perspectives at once. Black and white thinking? It's literally using less of your brain. The most intelligent people you'll ever meet are comfortable with contradiction. They can say, this person did something terrible, and they also contributed something valuable. They can hold two truths at once. That's not moral relativism, that's cognitive sophistication. Intelligence isn't about having the right answers. It's about being comfortable with complexity, ambiguity, and paradox. Attitude 4. Blaming external factors for everything. The fourth attitude is having an exclusively external locus of control. Nothing is ever their fault. Everything happens to them. Psychologist Julian identified this pattern in the 1,950 seconds. People with an external locus of control believe they're victims of circumstance. Life happens to them. People with an internal locus of control believe they have agency. They happen to life. Now here's what the research shows. External locus of control correlates with lower problem-solving ability. And it makes perfect sense. If you believe you have no control, why would you develop strategies to change your situation? Why would you analyze what went wrong? Listen to how someone explains their failures. Someone with a low intelligence attitude says, I failed because the test was unfair. The teacher hated me. I didn't have enough time. My coworkers sabotaged me. The system is rigged. It's always external. Always someone else's fault. An intelligent response sounds different. I failed. What did I miss? What do I need to do differently next time? What was in my control that I didn't optimize? Of course, bad luck and unfairness exist. But intelligent people focus on what they can control because that's where growth happens. The pattern to watch for. If every sentence someone speaks is about what's being done to them, if they're always the victim in every story, you're witnessing a cognitive trap. They've locked themselves in a mental prison where learning is impossible, because nothing is ever their responsibility. Attitude 5. Emotional reasoning over evidence. The fifth attitude is believing something is true because it feels true. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman showed that we have two thinking systems. System 1 is fast, emotional, instinctive. System 2 is slow, analytical, deliberate. Everyone has both. Low intelligence isn't about lacking System 2, it's about never engaging it. It's living entirely in System 1 and calling your feelings truth. Studies in cognitive psychology consistently show people who can't separate feelings from facts score lower on critical thinking assessments. Not because feelings don't matter, but because confusing feelings with reality is a fundamental reasoning error. You see this everywhere. Someone feels disrespected, therefore they were disrespected. They feel like a conspiracy is true, therefore it must be. They feel like they're a good person, therefore their actions must be justified. They feel attacked, therefore they are under attack. An intelligent person says, I feel angry about this. Let me step back and look at the evidence. Is my anger justified, or am I reacting to something else? Someone with a low intelligence attitude says, I feel angry. Therefore, I'm right to be angry. Therefore, the other person is wrong. My feelings are the evidence. This is dangerous because it makes reality negotiable. Facts become optional. If I feel something strongly enough, it becomes true. And once you're operating from that framework, learning becomes impossible. Because learning requires accepting that your feelings might be wrong. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are not facts. That distinction is everything. Here's what matters. Intelligence isn't fixed. Every attitude we've discussed can be changed with awareness and practice. If you recognized any of these patterns in yourself, that's actually a sign of intelligence. Because truly limited people can't recognize their own limitations.